What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing out there today? Welcome back to Wildcat MTG, and today I'm actually going to open up my first Duskmourn Play Booster box. We've obviously opened up a lot of the collector boxes on channel, but for some reason, it wasn't actually intentional. I just hadn't circled back to the actual play boxes yet, and so now I'm actually really curious. Now Duskmourn has been out for a while. We've seen it have a chance to, obviously singles have made their way into people's hands and cards have made their way into people's decks. We see that Duskmourn is having actually a really solid impact on multiple metas and multiple formats. So I'm really curious about what the value portion of play boosters looks like. It seems like Duskmourn actually has some really solid value to it, as well as just having a ton of playable cards. So we're going to see what that looks like today. I'm very curious to see what these play boxes look like. I haven't actually really even watched anybody open them. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and dive on in and let's crack some packs. So let's talk a little bit about Duskmourn. As of the filming of this video, the play boxes are really steady at about 130. I think that's really good. You don't want to see a set come out and you don't want to see play boxes then skyrocket, because that means something is off kilter, but you don't want to see them tank because that means usually the set isn't very desirable. So I really like when I see a set come out and a month later the play boxes are essentially what the same cost as they were as of the premiere or the release, I guess. What's really, I think, attractive to me about this set, whether you like the theme or not, that's, I get it. But as far as looking at value of product and set, there is some really strong value as of the filming of this video at the top of this set. There are multiple $30 mythics and a couple of $20 mythics behind. We see that the mythic cycle, the overlords, have had a really strong impact. So if we can hit a couple of those, that obviously puts us in a really good place. We start off with Valgavoth's Lair as our first rare. And a foil land and a Glimmerdust foil common, and there's our creepy looking art card. So yeah, at the top of this right now, as of the filming, is Abhorrent Oculus, a card that I was like, this is definitely going to be super commander played, but is actually seeing constructed play as well, and is currently $30. Valgavoth, which is the eater of, Terror Eater, whatever, card I was on super early as far as I just want this card. I think this card's pretty busto. Is in fact pretty busto. It is like 28 to 30 bucks. Marina Vendrell's Grimoire, not what we're looking for there. Razor Trap, and then a foil rare Zimone All Questioning. Kind of a neat card. I think it's probably a cool, maybe a cool commander. But yeah, so there's those two. And then after that, we've got Overlord of the Hauntwoods and Overlord of the Balemerk, which are both running at about 22 bucks respectively. So you've got two $30 mythics, two $22 mythics, and then after that, you've got the Meat Hook Massacre, the sequel, at around 12 to 13 right now. So, okay, so you've got some top-end value. Where's the rest of the value? It is a rare. It is our first room. It is Roaring Furnace and Steaming Sauna. And then I'm stuck in fetch land mode. I see a double land back there. I'm like, oh, is it a fetch land? Of course it's not a fetch land. Wrong set for that guy. One of the things I do think is pretty strong about the set is while you don't have any $12, $13, $14, $15 rares, there are a bunch of rares between the $3 and $10 mark. The land cycle is seeing play, so those have some value to them, which is nice. You have a strong rare cycle or a strong land cycle. A lot of those in the $7 to $10 range. I don't know why I'm putting that in the wrong pile. There we go. All right, Brood Spinner. Oh, this is our first mythic is Charred Foyer and Warped Space. The rooms are really cool. There's a couple of really cool mythic rooms, and a lot of the mythics, even if you don't necessarily hit the top end stuff, there are some mythics that are still just $3, $4, $5. A couple of the rooms in there. This is probably in that, I don't know, I'm gonna guess $4 to $5 range, but not bad. That is our first mythic of the box. Fear of the Dark as the foil common, and that will do it there. All right. Yeah, so rares, you have the Verge land cycle, and then there's a bunch of rares in was it Razorkin Needlehead? I think is $8 to $9. So while you might not have any $15 rares, it is nice that there's still plenty of $3 to $9 rares in there, which I do think helps buoy the overall value. Leyline of Hope. I also don't know what to expect in terms of mythic count from these play boxes, seeing as I've not opened one myself yet. Shard Mage's Rescue, Not a lot to speak of, like from common value. There's no like super sleeper valuable commons, but there are a couple of uncommons. There's a white enchantment. I think it's like $2 to $3. There might even be one more, and I can't remember. I think it's like $1.75. I mean, you know, nothing to write home about. But as far as like looking for extra value, there are a couple of notable uncommons in here. Next rare is Silent Hall Creeper, a card I actually really like. I don't think it's very valuable, but it's a card I enjoy, and I think is really cool. So I'll put that up top. Unsettling Twins, which is a great play on the Shiny. All right. Of course, there is a possibility of special guests. It seems like special guests are like increasingly difficult to get, and I'm not quite sure why. Like, I'm all for preserving some value and having them be special, but it feels like you should just at least average one per box, and I don't even think that's the case anymore. They feel like one in every 2, maybe even every 3 boxes. Leyline of Resonance. All right, so Mono Red is a problem, especially on Arena right now. Best of 1. Whether you like best of 1 or not, it is a recognized ranked format on Arena, and this card is just absurd. If you end up with 2 of these in play, you're probably just going to win on your turn 2, maybe even your opponent's turn 1. And even without Leyline of the Void after that, it's funny that this card's not that valuable anymore. And even after that, Anthropede. I don't know what I'm doing here with my piles. Hover ship. And even if you end up with 1 in play, you're still probably good for a turn 3 kill. That with what they have with Mono Red right now, that Leyline of Resonance seems like a card that is, at the very least, producing some undesirable results in that you just have a lot of non-games, which seems bad, right? Like, you're like, the red player. Oh, there's a mythic. Hey, Screaming Nemesis, cool. I think Screaming Nemesis is right in the ballpark of about $10. That's a pretty sweet mythic, and this card is also just punishing. If they don't have removal, they don't want to block because, you want the ability to at least gain life. Fear of Imposters. I don't know what I'm doing with my piles. Let's just do that. So yeah, the red player starts with one of those in play, puts down their land, plays a 1-drop creature. Your opponent plays a Surveil land on their turn 1, and then the game is over. Like, they literally didn't get to do anything. And I've seen a lot of games like that. Like, the percentage is higher than you would think. I think that card is it's a problem. I think Mono Red doesn't really need that level of help. A Silent Hall Creeper, this time in the borderless. Again, not a particularly a valuable card, but it is a cool card, and I like it, and that's the borderless version, so I will throw it up top. Jump Scare and Shards. We do have 2 mythics. Like I said, I think the room is probably a few bucks, maybe in the $4 to $6 range if I had to guess. Screaming Nemesis, I'd probably put between around 9 or 10. Hopefully a few more in this box. Cynical Loner, Greenhouse. Some really cool room cards, actually. Definitely some impactful ones as well. Brood Spinner. Hey, Enduring Tenacity, cool. I think the Enduring cycle is really, really good, and I think Tenacity is probably up there. I don't know. I'm gonna guess it's in the $5 range, but another solid card. Foil land, Ripper, and our art card. All right, nearing the end of the first column of the box. Yeah, so Leyline of Resonance. It is a very good card. Obviously an incredibly specific strategy, but boy, it is a menace. Razorkin Horde Caller. Keys to the House. Hooray! First of the land cycle. Very cool. And as I mentioned, the lands are seeing play. They are pretty neat. I was a little skeptical of them, but they do see play. They do fit a particular mold, and thus they do have some value to them. Saw as a foil uncommon. Most of the verges, like I said, are in anywhere from $5 to $9 range. I don't think any of them are over 10 at this moment, but still, as far as value is concerned, I'm curious to see how many per box these of the lands you average. But if you average somewhere in the neighborhood of 5, it gives you a pretty solid foundation of value. The Mind Skinner, which is a really cool card. I don't think it's particularly valuable, maybe a couple bucks, but that is still a really neat rare. Split Up, which is a very abusable board wipe. And then Altenac the Thrice Called as the uncommon, foil uncommon. Okay, pretty solid first column of the box. Nothing spectacular. Obviously, we want to hit the Oculus or the Valgavoth or two of those, the two specific Overlords. Actually, I think the White Overlord is also, I think it's the Mist Meadows. I think it's also like $10, so it's nothing, I would not be upset about pulling one of those. I'll say it that way. Betrayer's Bargain, Exercise, Get Out. Mythic is Nico. That is not a mythic we want to see. I believe Nico is probably the least valuable at this moment. Probably pretty good in limited. Not what I want to see otherwise. Ethereal Armor, though. Foil uncommon Ethereal Armor is pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, Nico's definitely not what we want to see there. Yeah, so overall, I've been impressed with his head. And like I said, as I was looking over, doing my homework prior to picking up one of these boxes, I was like, I'll be curious to see what the opening experience looks like. But from the outside looking in, it looks like it has a lot of solid value to it. Next is a Roaring Furnace Steaming Sauna as a rare room. And then a Bear Trap. All right. Threats around every corner. Shroud Stomper, which is a really good card in limited for Reanimator. I love that it's an archetype because it's already one of my favorite archetypes to build constructed decks around. The fact that it's a bona fide limited is really, really cool. Reluctant Role Model is a rare. And there's a foil, and then another foil common, and then Jolly Balloon Man with the gold stamped signature. I think I said this like the very first video, the very first collector box I opened. When the release schedule for the sets came out, I was incredibly skeptical of Duskmourn just because I was like, man, I'm a little over Innistrad. I feel like we've just beat that to death. No pun intended with the plane. Oh, Withering Torment, solid uncommon. Leyline of Mutation. But, as we got closer and we got to see, I was like, oh, it's modern horror, like from almost like a movie horror trope standpoint. Really dig that. And now the fact that a lot of the cards are actually, whether you're slotting them into commander decks or they're actually seeing various levels of constructed play, pretty cool. Disturbing Mirth, Orphans of the Wheat, Undead Sprinter. I think that card is pretty good as well. Daggermaw Megalodon as the foil common. And our toy token. Right, we're approaching the halfway point in the box. I feel like we've fallen a little bit behind on the scoreboard. Nico was not a big help to us. Another Shroud Stomper. Veteran Survivor. Piggy Bank, which is a good card. Oh, there we go. Asking you shall receive. There we go. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. This card is great. It's probably, I think like 22-ish. This is one of the $22 mythics I was talking about. This card is awesome. Love to see it. That is a very good mythic for us. Perfect. Perfect. All right, Give Into Violence as the foil common. Cool. That's what we needed to see. All right. Yeah, and you know what? For me, like for collection building, I was like, okay, collector boxes are great. Like, obviously, I love the chase factor. They're fun to open. But I was like, I kind of need a couple of play boxes in here, too, just to actually build up the singles I have for this set. Grievous Wound. It looks like we have a borderless Roaring Furnace Steaming Sauna that time. So it's a borderless room rare. Peculiar Lighthouse, Irreverent Gremlin, and an insect token. Live or Die is a strong uncommon. Cursed Windbreaker. Oblivious Bookworm, which is also a really good limited card if you're building around that card. Patchwork Beastie, and a Balustrade Worm. It's funny that this card basically doesn't like. I mean, I've seen it see some level of play. I think right now, again, I said the meta's a little out of whack because red is so aggressive. It's like turn 5 seems forever, but it's the card just does so much. Trample, haste, can't be countered, 5/5, and then you can possibly bring it back. Like, how high on the power scale is that card through Magic's history? And yet it's like an experimental playable card in 2024. Wild. Okay. Valgaloth's Faithful, Orphans of the Wheat again. One of the better flavor cards of the set. This is so good. So it's a 3-mana rock. It's a black and white TV, so it produces black and white, or you can pay 1 life. You can pay life for color. That's well done, is what that is. Enduring Vitality is a good card. I enjoy this. Probably in like the $4 to $5 range as well. So that's cool. Again, I think the Enduring cycle is quite good. Flesh Burrower and a Spirit Token. We have seen 1 foil rare. I feel like play boxes nowadays usually run with 2 to 3 foil rares on average. So I'm kind of hoping we see at least 1 more. I'm going to start a second pile here for the commons and uncommons. All right. We're approaching the end of the halfway point in the box. The second column in the box. Shrewd Storyteller. This is Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber as a rare room. Little swamp. Fear of Being Hunted. And a treasure token. All right, 2 packs left in this middle column. So we're on 4 mythics right now. I would say 2 quite good, 1 okay, and 1, at least from a value standpoint, pretty bad. Cathartic Party. Undead Sprinter again. That's our second Undead Sprinter of this box. Unstoppable Slasher in the showcase. Also a card I rather like. That's pretty cool. And then the Etched Cornfield. Osseous Stick Twister. All right, last pack of the middle column here. Ghostly Keybearer, Pyroclasm. Good to see Pyroclasm back in Standard. Killer's Mask, Sawblade, Skin Ripper. No, another Enduring Tenacity. Okay. All right. Not totally unhappy with that, but that's some weird duplication. Sure. Little land, Unable to Scream, and Gremlin Token. All right, we are into our last column of the box. Still stuck on 1 land, by the way. Was kind of hoping I would see... I bet it's not necessarily 5, but it feels like 3 per box is not unreasonable. If you had when we had MKM, right? So you have the entire 10-land cycle in the same, all 10 surveil lands for that cycle were in the same set. So it was, pretty common to have boxes that had 5, 6, sometimes even 7. Mostly 5, or in the 5 range. Live or Die. Rare is Marvin the Murderous Mimic, which does see some fringe play. Actually seeing a little bit of play in Pioneer. Swamp. Insidious Fungus, quite good in Limited. There's a lot of enchantments running around in Limited. And sometimes just drawing a card and accelerating yourself by putting a land on the battlefield tapped is pretty good also, at instant speed, no less. Okay. Another Insidious Fungus Among Us, this time in the showcase. Withering Torment, Fear of Failed Tests, Shrewd Storyteller. Rare room is Restricted Office and Lecture Hall. So we have a board wipe, and then other permanents you control have hexproof. Bleeding Woods as a foil common. Scorching Dragonfire as a foil common. There's our art card. All right, so far, although we've had a couple of good mythics in here, I'm a little underwhelmed at this moment, if I'm being honest. But we still have quite a bit of box left. Here we go. Conductive Machete. Overgrown Zealot. Wildfire Wickerfolk, which is a strong card. Cursed Recording as a rare. Land. and Cautious Survivor as a foil common. Haven't seen a lot of like multi-rare packs. Okay. Break Down the Door. Vile Mutilator. Smoky Lounge and Misty Salon. Wickerfolk Thresher. Rare is Dazzling Theater and Prop Room as another rare room. Spectral Snatcher as a foil common, Glimmer Token, and land. All right. House Cartographer, Oblivious Bookworm again, Cursed Windbreaker, Irreverent Gremlin. Rare is a Valgavoth's Lair, this time in the showcase. We did pull one of those earlier, but it was a non-showcase. Followed by a land token, followed by a rare, a foil rare, Victor Valgavoth Sentinel. Actually a pretty cool card. It is possible to pull off the multi enchantment drop in a turn. And if you do, it's pretty good. But definitely a build around. Not a lot of value outside of being a interesting limited card. Okay. Fear of Falling. Stick Twister. Trial of Agony. Rare is Toby Beastie Befriender. Followed by land. And a Swarm Weaver as a showcase foil. Kind of a cool card, but I mean, especially very good and limited, but otherwise, not outside of that, not a ton of value there either. All right, what do we got? 5 packs left? 6. I would like some mythics and some lands, please. Untimely Malfunction. I think this card actually is like a buck or two as well as an uncommon. Defiled Crypt. Conductive Machete. Doomsday Excruciator. Foil Land. And a Ticket Booth and Tunnel of Hate as a foil common. All right, 5 packs left. We're going to need some help at this point. Lionheart Glimmer. Dashing Bloodsucker. Paranormal Analyst. Super good and limited. Under the Skin. Also quite strong. Rare. Is that our third Valgavoth's Lair? I think it is. I think we pulled 2 regular and a showcase. That's not exactly what I want to see there. Lighthouse. And Stay Hidden, Stay Silent as a foil uncommon. Okay. 4 packs left. 1 box does not make for a good sample size. But thus far, I am not particularly psyched about these play boxes. Savior of the Small. Fear of Burning Alive. Quality uncommon. Rare is Toby Beastie Befriender again. Second rare, one of the rare double rare packs we've had. Grievous Wound. Land. Manifest Dread as a foil common. Sure. 3 packs left. How long has it been since we opened a Mythic? Like a while, right? Holy moly. Okay. Overgrown Zealot. Wildfire Wickerfolk. Stick Twister. Trial of Agony again. Rare is Ghost Vacuum. I kind of like the card. It's not valuable, but I do like targeted graveyard hate for 1 mana. Repeatable at that. Foil common, Don't Make a Sound. 2 packs left. Now we're going to need all kinds of help. All kinds of help. Okay. Internal Phantom. Growing Dread. Enduring Curiosity. Cool. All right. At least a decent card. I think Curiosity's in the neighborhood of $4 to $5. Mythic. Hey, we got another Mythic. It is Funeral Room and Awakening Hall. I think it's cool as a Mythic. Like, obviously, I don't know if it's really constructed playable. In fact, I don't really think it is. But certainly, Commander has some Commander implications. So it at least is a Mythic. Little Plains. Live or Die as a Foil uncommon, a decent one at that. And then the art card for Razorkin Needlehead. All right, last pack. Oh boy. Attack in the Box, Unnerving Grasp, Baseball Bat. The Thrice Called. Rare is Valgavoth's Onslaught. And that's going to do it there. Stay hidden, stay silent again. Another insect token. So, I'm probably going to go back and open another box pretty quick here because this feels below average. Like I said, I haven't even watched any other play boxes get opened. And looking over the set, I was like, well, there seems to be good value in the set overall. This, I don't, and maybe I'm wrong. Like y'all out there watch probably more of these, have seen more of these boxing openings than I have. Obviously, this doesn't feel like 5 mythics for a play box in this day and age seems underwhelming. 1 land on the land cycle, a rare land cycle at that. I expect like 2 to 3. And I'm not unhappy with the mythic quality overall. Like, I think the Charred Foyer is really cool. Obviously, I'm stoked about the Hauntwoods and the Nemesis. And then I bought us just stuff that was like, $3-4, maybe 5. A lot of like $1-2 stuff. Relay line is, I think, is maybe 4. But yeah, nevertheless, this felt, no special guest. Again, we've kind of talked about how those seem increasingly rare to pull. This one feels below average. Like, I can't imagine if this is a representation of average or better, like, we're in real trouble, and I don't think that's the case. So I will definitely check this out again. Like, we'll come back to another Duskmourn play box at some point. There's no way that this is even an average box. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys at least enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button for me, and by all means, drop me some comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much, everybody, and be well.